So moving on, some confrontation. We had talked about Stephen A. And LeBron running down on Stephen A. Smith sidelining the game. Well, Stephen A. went on First Take and the Stephen A. Smith show to talk about what actually happened. Now, first, let's take a listen to what LeBron actually said to Stephen A. Smith, because people were trying to figure that out for a minute.
I even seen a couple voiceovers.
Yeah, let's take a listen to Stephen A. saying what LeBron actually said to him.
I was sitting courtside, and the next thing you know, out of the blue, LeBron came in my face. He approached me during the game, and he said, "Stop effing with my son. That's my effing son. Stop effing with my son." I said, "What? Nah, man, straight up, man to man, real talk. Stop effing with my son." And I saw how furious he was. And I said, "We can talk about it later." "Nah, F that, stop effing with my son. That's my son. I said, "All right, dog, fine." And he walked away.
Yeah, so just to clear up what we thought was said, I mean, it's to the effect of what people kind of thought, but those were the exact words. Now, Stephen A. then went on to talk about just the whole confrontation in general, and, you know, how it unfolded. And I will say, when I watched this from Stephen A., I was a little disappointed in Stephen A., and we'll get into it. Let's take a listen to the confrontation conversation.
That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. But if we had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, "I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me."
Now, there's one more that I want to play, and then I want to get y'all thoughts on this. So then he talked about, like, the gist of it, like, right? Like, people saying, "Yo, Stephen A., you be coming at Bronny like crazy." He talks about why he actually talks about Bronny. Let's take a listen to that.
At the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James, because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. "The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earned, not given, etc., etc." But he also had said his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. He instructed everybody before the draft that y'all want me, draft Bronny. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. My point was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that.
How y'all feel about all that? How y'all feel about Stephen A.'s response to what happened?
I thought his response was solid.
Going back to, because I wasn't here when y'all originally talked about it, but I don't think it was nothing wrong with what LeBron did. I think it's a difference between doing commentary and then just straight coming at somebody. Like, and you know how Stephen A. talk, his delivery, he's never subtle about anything. Like, he's very opinionated, and sometimes it definitely can come off as disrespectful, you know. And I felt like LeBron had a dad moment, like he said, like he came at me as a father, like not even a basketball player. Stop playing with my son. Now I know that Bronny is not exempt from commentary, or he ain't his father. He's not the most skilled player right now, but don't play with my son.
I don't think anybody's exempt from critique, and I think he critiqued it. I think the whole world has been critiquing Bronny. I think, they put a lot of pressure on Bronny because he signed to the Lakers. He went straight to the league. Yes, he deserves that critique, and for every action, there is a reaction. I have no problem with what Stephen A. Smith said. I have no problem with the world say, but I also have no problem as a dad, LeBron, saying something as well, because if somebody talks about my son,
we know
I'm going back. But same thing with John Moran's dad. John Moran's dad is very critical about people that talks to his dad, and he can. That's his son at the end of the day. I'm cool with both sides.
Yeah, as I said Friday, I understand both angles. Stephen A. got a job to do as a media personality, and LeBron got a job to do as a father. And Stephen A. did say he wanted LeBron to stop as a father, so LeBron approached him as a father. I don't see the issue with either side.
And I agree with the father conversation. I agree with, look, you say something, you can't respond to how. I mean, you don't know how LeBron's going to act, and I love the fact that LeBron did it in person, because he could have called Stephen A. He could have whatever. you're going to have to see me. I'm down with all that. The only thing I didn't like was I felt like Stephen A was like back skating away from having an opinion about a player, which is your job. Man. And I thought that, to me, that's not what I look to hear from Stephen A. Smith. He doesn't have to be disrespectful. He can say, I respect what you're saying and doing as a father. But I do think you saying, I was only talking about Bronny because of what LeBron said. No, you're talking about him because
that's how
NBA
you feel.
Player. He's an NBA player, so that's how you feel. Stand on that, and then also be able to have that.
I do think that when you listen to Stephen A's critique, his critique was mostly aimed at LeBron, which is why LeBron got pissed off, because he literally said, as a father, I'm begging you to stop this. And it's like, what did Bron do other than get his son drafted? Regardless of what happens after his son gets in the league, LeBron pushed to get his son drafted, as Stephen A just explained.
Correct.
So a lot of his critique was for Bron, but what's wrong with that? What's wrong with using who you are to get your son a job?
Nothing. But now the only other thing what I would do as a father, I would make sure my son is the best. Yeah. So when he starts kicking ass, I'm gonna come back and say what you got to say now, Stephen A. Smith. I would prove it with actions. Prove it with scoring 20, scoring 30, being able to guard the toughest people in the league, and then give him the middle finger.
So why didn't
that's gonna take time.
Yeah, it's gonna take time.
And I just feel like Stephen A. could have even said that, but to be like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave him alone.
He didn't say sorry.
It was the effect that he said he was sad by the response of like.
But what's wrong with that though?
I just
like a lot of times you get in front of these microphones and you say things, and then you might regret it later. Somebody might approach you. There might be backlash. If that's how he feels and he wants to do that, there's nothing wrong with that.
I just don't think that there was anything wrong with what he said. Like, I felt like Stephen A. just had a job and he was doing it. Like,
I don't see nothing wrong either. But I don't see nothing wrong with what LeBron did either. It's his son.
Nah, I get what you're saying. Like the same thing. Like that people used to get mad at Wendy, like for doing her job.
Yeah, I mean, but
sort of like that.
Love Wendy to death. That's my girl.
I'm not talking about old Wendy. I'm talking about Wendy like on the show. Like if people get mad at her about saying anything, it's like, nah, she is doing her job.
Yeah, but she Wendy get a little crazy. She used to put up the charts of the baby moms and stuff like that. Stephen A's was a little bit more not as salacious, but
definitely wasn't as salacious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is the latest with Lauren. Charlamagne, you want to apologize for calling me Dominican all the time when I'm not?
No, you should thank me for allowing you the opportunity to big up your heritage, which you never do.
Shut
even when
up.
I throw
I'm
you the
Dominican,
alley-oop,
man.
which is crazy to me.
Who are you giving your donkey to, man?
4 after the hour. We need a young lady from Maryland to come to the front of the congregation now. We're going to do Breakfast Club Court. Okay? Her name is Jayla Cunningham. I'm sure you might have seen the video where she dragged this person across her hair salon floor because the person allegedly was running out on her. I want to take this to Breakfast Club Court, but I'm going to tell y'all the story 4 after the hour. So I'm going to let y'all decide whether or not she should get donkey of the day.
All right, we'll get to that next. Don't go anywhere. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.